And we are live. Welcome to the Impact Reality XR podcast. My name is Eric, and you may know me from Q2C for VR Gamer, Virtual Strangers in the VR Crewcast. Welcome, everybody, to episode 5 of the Impact Reality XR podcast, where we are a bi-weekly podcast that gives you an inside look at the VR, AR, XR industry and the passionate people that make it all happen. We normally go live every other week when it's at all possible. And while we will be your main host, you will see some other Impact Reality teams step in from time to time. But today, let me say hello to my two co-hosts and fellow co-founders of the amazing Impact Reality, Jasmine from VR with Jasmine. What's up, Jazz?
Eric, you're such a trooper trying to power through your COVIDness. Eric got COVID, so look at him. Let me just call it out. Do you guys notice that?
It's not COVID.
Hi, everybody.
It's just sickness. It's just sickness. What's up, Jazz? How are you doing? And when my other co-host and other co-founder from the awesome Between Realities and the VR Crewcast, and 3 times award nominee for the VR Awards. Is that what you say? Nominee VR Award?
VR Award finalist.
Finalist. That's what it is.
Yet to bring home one of those trophies, but I'm gonna keep getting myself as a finalist until one of those is sitting here with me.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
That was a great new intro we had, man. That hyped me up. I'm like, yeah, let's go.
It was very good. It was very good. We had 4 to choose from. Did you guys hear? Did you guys look at all 4? And this isn't the one I would have picked.
This sounds good. I mean,
it is
both
really
of those
good.
2 that we were going back and forth with were pretty awesome. But this one was definitely my hype.
The other one had some serious guitar riff in it. I liked it.
It was metal.
I like this one though, and I want to give a shout out to Todd because Todd actually made that intro with his bare hands. No, he really did though. Yeah, that was really impressive. We were like, surely that was a template, but no, he put that together himself. So impressive.
Yeah, our new kick-ass background that we got going on, this moving background Todd did, and he did like the new little gold boxes with our names, and then that awesome intro. And I think you have to have an intro. It just feels weird going like GT for Crewcast. We just like all of a sudden we're live. And we're like, what? Are we live? We're live. Okay, we're live.
Sometimes we'll be mid sentence and he's like, we're live. It's always funny. Like,
Jazz, do you? I'm trying to remember now, and I don't remember. Do you have an intro music or for VR and all that jazz?
You do, yeah. Adam did it because obviously I wouldn't have. So yay, Adam!
Yeah, there we go. When's the next episode of that coming? By the way,
third Wednesday of every month. So
okay, so we got something coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, really good guest too.
Yeah, can you say who it is now or no?
No, because I can't remember. But really great guests.
Whoever it is, they're going to be amazing. It's so amazing, I can't even remember.
Always amazing ladies.
This happens to Skiva all the time, by the way, because they always have like, what you guys in Between Realities, you have how many guests lined up like already, so it's tough to know in a week, right?
Yeah, so when we go on season break, we start booking for the next season, and usually within a day, 2 days, we have 6 to 7 months booked.
No big deal.
Yeah, so that's
anyway.
Right. 40 people.
Yeah,
I can remember. I can tell you this. I do have a guest tomorrow night on Q2C VR Gamer, and I do remember who it is, and he is pretty awesome, and that would be Mateo 311.
Ooh, nice. I love Mateo.
Great. Yeah, he's a cool dude, and we're gonna rant on a couple of things probably together. We always like getting together and bitching about stuff. It's always fun.
Nice.
Although there's not much to bitch about right now. There's some freaking pretty cool things going on in the VR world, right?
There is. Yep.
Like literally MetaConnect was just in person again for the first time in so many years. That was crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. We all did get a chance to go on. Guys, we never ever call out our chat because we always have a guest right up front. Should we call out and Jazz, do you want to call out and say hi to the chat?
Hi, chat.
By name? I'll do it. Skiva, we have Mr. Tasselhoff is here. Says he's working with his toddler for bedtime, but he's going to tune in.
Nice.
We got a Bacardi B sighting. Zell 2318 is here. Been playing Tabor since 11 a.m. Currently almost 8.
Yes.
Chill here and wind down for the night.
No, keep going. Just
keep going, dude.
Keep couple more raids. Just a couple more.
Traveling Man is here, 3775, and Alex VR is here, looking with some people.
Hey.
This is the homies. What's up, dude?
What up?
Skiva, Orlin Hooper's here.
Oh, Orlin Hooper's jacked, yo.
Oh man, you don't have a top.
Nah, I didn't set anything.
I'll do it for him. I'll do it for him because I freaking love Orland Hooper. Ready? Orland Hooper's jacked, yo.
There you go.
Love Orland Hooper. Fourth Wall Breaker is here. Let's see. Brandon VR. Creeper Betty VR is here. What's up, Betty? How are you doing?
What's up, Betty?
I think that's it
Betty
right
Late
now.
Never.
Yeah.
Never.
Is Betty killing the Betty Late the Never news? Have you guys been watching this? Was there an episode last week? I was so sick last
No,
week.
because she also was sick.
I thought maybe.
Aw.
Yeah, I thought maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Right before I went away, we were talking about doing like a Saturday Night Live episode together because she wasn't feeling good and she's like, I can't get something together. So she's like, but I want to do something. I'm like, I'll go on live with you. We'll just do it live. And we were going to do it, and she was so sick she still couldn't even do it. And then I went away, and then I got sick. So I was pretty much out of it on Saturday. So I didn't know if she went live or not or recorded. So maybe this Saturday, hopefully.
Yeah. So you guys, I have to tell you, like, one of the coolest things that happened to me at Connect. Okay, well, there's a lot of really cool things, but I have to say this right at this moment.
Probably the coolest is you got to spend time with me.
That's definitely number one.
Yeah.
Anyway, so obviously, like, Steven, do you know what I'm gonna say? Your face says it all.
I don't know. I'm not sure. If it's what I think it is, then we'll see. I don't know.
So obviously, like, obviously Scott was there from
Oh yeah.
Combat Waffle Studios, and so he was there with Mava. She's from Beyond Fame's their publisher, and they were like, Jazz, did you get a challenge coin? And I was like, no. You guys know the challenge coin, right? The one that they gave out for the Ghost of Tabor, really
Beautiful. Where is it? Show it to us.
That's over there. I can grab it. I don't have it at my desk. There's no room in this thing. My mic stand broke. I can go get it in a second. But yeah, so she pulls out. They were like, yeah, we already like got rid of all the higher numbers. So and they were like grabbing in their bag. And then when they pull it out, I got number 4.
The story is actually better than that though. So
Is it?
Scott came by at one point to me, and
Oh, yeah, right.
he like went to shake my hand, and in his hand was a challenge coin, and I already have one, but he wanted me to have this one because he kind of like shook it into my hand, and I looked at it. I'm like, dude, it's number 6, man. That's amazing. Thank you. All these coins are numbered. They only have they have limited numbers of them. So I'm like, man, that's awesome. It's 6. And I showed it to Jazz, and I'm like, 6. And she's like, oh my God, you got 6? That's crazy. And I'm like, here, I'm like, I already have one. I'll give it to you. And I'm like, no, I can't give it to you. Scott gave it to me as number 6. But then you made a TikTok about it, showing that you had number 6. And then after that, you got number 4. And then you put it up in my face and like, I get number 4.
And then Eric was like, can we trade? I was going to give you 6. And I was like, no way, buddy. Okay, so number 1, Scott has number 1, Beva from Beyond Frames has number 2, and then Ace, the CEO of Beyond Frames, has number 3, and me has number 4.
Who's got number 5?
I don't know.
You're not
freaking
better
Eva.
at all.
Man, I got 6, and
Todd got 8.
Todd got 8.
Yeah, and it went to good use too. So we had like an after party, or like just like a hangout, like a bar after Connect. And Scott walks up to us. I'm like, challenge coin. And he's like, oh man, I don't have mine. I gave mine all the way to you all. So he did have to buy some drinks for everybody.
Yeah.
It was great.
It was a good setup, man. It was a good setup for sure.
Yeah, he told us about that thing where you slap down the challenge coin, and then the person that doesn't have theirs has to buy drinks for the rest of the night. So if he didn't tell us that, he would have been stuck with a much smaller bar bill.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
No, but Martin's told me, so I would have known anyway, and I would have just kept slapping that thing everywhere.
I didn't know that until Scott told me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, at that bar between him and Hawaii from Quantar, I mean, there was quite a bar bill. We'll just say that. We'll just say that.
Okay, so what else happened at Connect, guys? What else happened?
I don't know, something about a headset. Was there a
I
headset?
don't know. What is that?
There might have been a Mark Zuckerberg sighting. Jazz, how close were you to the Mark?
Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you. Okay, now we're talking. Let's start this conversation. I'm gonna tell you the story from A to Z. So I got there. I live in the Bay Area, so I didn't have to like stay at a hotel. So I got there on my own accord, And then there's like this big ass line for for everybody to get in line. And I was like, man, it's so long. So I'm just standing there, and it was so cool because literally everyone that's there is basically a developer. So literally standing in line and like you're like, oh hey you, and I saw like Cohen from Hubris. It was just such a great line. But anyway, I get a call
over
from
600 developers there too, by the way.
yeah, it was so cool. You literally, it was so great. Anyway, so then I'm like messaging the ambassador, which is now the Quest Creator Program. I'm like, do I have to stand in this long line? And they were like, no, actually, we have a special guest line. So I got to go to a special guest line with all the creators, and it was like, oh god, it was so good. It was like Nacy was there, and Virtual Reality Oasis, and Techman, and like JBrat, and like a bunch of us, like, well, I think about 10 of us were like in that line together. It was so cool. And then because that line was right next to the developer line was moving faster, by the way. So I don't even know why we were in a special guest line. But anyway, as the developers were all like passing by us really, really fast, we're just like, hey, oh my gosh, hi. It was so good. It was so great. Like you just get to say hi to all the developers. Anyway, so then they let us in, and oh gosh, this part was also really good. So they let us in, and they gave us like these special wristbands, and then they walked us past all the developers that got in there first. And then they took us to like a special green room. Then we came outside, and then you like see like, man, I have these photos and videos. I'm gonna have to post it. I think I'll probably do like a Connect vlog or something. But then you see like, so we get out and we're getting close to the stage, and you see this like line where like there's security guards and just like a mob of developers all behind this, like huge mob of them. They're all just like waiting to get in.
Who
and
was
then
first in
like,
that line?
You.
Damn
You
right
were
I was
first.
first in that
Yeah, I
line.
was like, who is that guy? So then we get closer to the stage, and then they tell us they gave us a very strict dress code. And once we got there, we are like, man, why is this dress code so strict? All the developers get to wear whatever they want. Man, this sucks. And then turns out that all the creators got to sit in like the first row. I was so close. I swear I got spat on.
You got Mark Zuckerberg spittle on you.
Yeah, it was glorious. Anyway,
it was pretty cool actually. Yeah. And it was funny because I was probably about, I don't know, 10 12 rows behind Jasmine, but like directly behind her. So at one point she gets a selfie like of herself, and you can see me waving in the background, like photobombing her selfie. It was too funny. But and there was lots of cameras there, Jazz, like airing it live.
oh
and I'm sure there was lots of shots of you. Videos. But I get a text message right in the middle of Connect, right in the middle of Zuckerberg's talk, because I'm frantically trying to get online to pre-order once it went live a Quest 3. So I'm messing on my phone during some of the AI talk, and I get a message from Tribe Grey Wolf. He's like, "You better get off your phone," and then he sends me a picture. He snapped a picture off of his TV, and it's me looking down at my phone. So they had like a boom camera. So he's got like this perfect picture of me, like not paying attention to what's going on. And I'm like, oh shit, man, people are looking at me. I'm going to have to like make sure I start paying attention to everything.
Honestly, the creators were all on our phones the whole time. Literally, none of us ever stopped. We were like snapping photos, snapping videos. So, it's fine. You were fine.
Thank God. Because Mark was going to point me out and go, what the fuck, dude? What are you doing?
Nah, he would have just kicked you out.
Probably. Jasmine, there was a lot of people hooting and hollering in the crowd. Did you get a chance? Because they were right next to me. Did you get a chance to hear some of these people? And you know who they were, right?
I didn't know who they were during that, but yeah, they were like screaming. And then during one of the happy hours, I met them. It was the Horizon Worlds group. Oh my gosh, they were so loud. If you went on social media, there were a bunch of people saying like, Meta just like hired people to cheer in the crowd, blah 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 blah. But no, it was one guy, and he was just having the time of his life. He has really good energy too. I met him, and he was just like, look, all these articles tell everyone's saying that I was a hired person. It was good.
He was definitely not a hired person. He was literally in the row in front of me and just to the front and left of me. And every time they mentioned anything, especially when even the Ray-Ban glasses, he was freaking out, man. He was so excited and that's why it upsets me sometimes with Meta. Like I don't want to apologize for Meta. Meta is not the perfect company in the world, but everybody wants to bang on Meta. Number one, you have a lot of these other people out there, people that I respect in the industry, giving Meta a hard time, telling them that they didn't let the developers in, and it was like all corporate people. That's not the case. I was arm in arm with some of the smallest developers that you'll see out there to some of the largest. So this was all developers. There wasn't many corporate people there. There was very few creators there. It was mainly developers, and there was no any paid people cheering. This was all like live, and it was electric. It was being there live.
I think it was like 20 creators total. I know, because like we had like a special room and there was only a couple of us that were allowed in there. So there was not that many creators, and it was like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of developers, because like the creators were in a separate area. But then when you go to the developer area, which I didn't even know existed until like way later, you go there and there's like all these stages with like different talks happening, and you can't even walk. Everyone's just like packed in there. There were so many developers. It was really good.
Yeah, it was cool, man. It was electric. And Skiva, I think, during the talk, I mean, we all knew about the Quest 3. You were there, you were watching it. You weren't live, but you were watching it. And, we all knew about the Quest 3, and that was kind of old news. We didn't really hear anything new, even though it was exciting. But then
there was an interesting news. Remember how they said how many games, Skiva, are coming out on the Quest 3?
Oh, so they said there would be 100 games, but 50 of them would be new titles, and the other 50 would be updates to existing titles to look better on the Quest 3. So that's exciting. That's I think before Christmas. So what's that,
before the end of the year
day is what that kind of comes out to. There's a lot happening. They didn't they didn't give us a lot of what that stuff was. They didn't really talk about games, and they even brushed past the VR stuff pretty quick. But I will say that like a lot of meta connects in the at least in the past 2 years, I'm always interested. Whenever you talk about VR, I'm all about it. Attention forward, right? But this year we had two of my favorite subjects. Like I am all about XR, and right under that, I am about AI. Like those are the two things that interest me the most in the whole world. And so the whole thing, I was just enthralled the entire time. There's so many cool things happening to see, VR and AR and MR all being mixed together with intelligence. It's an exciting time. It's an exciting time to be alive. I'm pretty stoked.
Have you tried the AI thing that they have, the Meta AI that you can talk to?
I have not. But that large language model that they're using is open source, and anyone can go use it or download it and modify it.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool. And then they have a third version coming out, which is, I believe, what they're going to be using in this. But also, they were mentioning that eventually these glasses would be able to see and give you information using the artificial intelligence based on what the cameras see too. And that's really, really cool. Yeah. Kind of with you, Eric, when I've heard you say before that like you weren't super into the first glasses, and I wasn't either. I didn't have any interest. To me, it was
no, and Todd had them. That's why I was like, because he was telling me all about them. I'm like, these don't interest me at all.
Yeah, bought them. I paid my hard-earned money to buy them. I used them like 2 times, and they've just been collecting dust ever since. They're now a collector's item.
Yeah, and I think that's what would have happened with me too. So I didn't bother, but I might actually get this set. I'm not sure yet. If they had more frames and I could replace my glasses with those, I totally would, right? But I don't know. To me, originally, my first thoughts about these glasses were it's going to be kind of like having Mark Zuckerberg on your back watching everything that you're doing, which is kind of true, right? But then, so there has to be some kind of an offset to make it worth it. And to me, real life application of being able to go, hey, what is this? Or I'm looking at a foreign menu over Gamescom that's all in German. Translate this for me in real time as I look at it. That's absolutely huge. These are exactly the types of things that this technology is really going to bring to the masses and like really improve everyone's daily life with things exactly like this. So I think we're moving right in the right direction here. And I'm pretty stoked. I still don't know if I'm going to buy them because I get uncomfortable walking around having cameras there. And I just feel like it might make people uncomfortable. So
I don't care. I'm recording everybody. Okay, I could care less. No way. I'm because you can live stream it too. Because you see that feature now, you can live stream right from your glasses. Like I'm definitely doing that. Like I want to do that. I want to live stream. I just hope it's not a button I can hit like by mistake and like I go to the bathroom and go to like take a leak and I forgot I'm live streaming and I go to look down.
I hit that bell button just in case. Whoops.
For our sake, I really hope that doesn't happen, Eric.
Oh my God, it would be viral. It would be viral. Nobody be able to stop that.
Oh my gosh, wait, okay, this is so off topic now, but do you guys remember like during COVID, everyone was doing like Zoom meetings and there was a lady who forgot to turn off her camera and went to go to the bathroom and
see that many
all her coworkers were like, stop, but she didn't see it until she was already sitting on the toilet. Did you guys see that?
No, was she not wearing any pants?
It was so she
never seen her
she
naked.
like sat down to go.
Oh, she brought it into the bathroom with her? Or?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you guys didn't see that? Yeah,
That was happening with this thing. I guarantee it. People are
at
gonna
some
forget.
point. I wonder, maybe they can like, I don't know, do some sort of AI thing where if it's seeing something that's questionable, it kind of like blurs it. That could help.
Hopefully,
they definitely they got me, Skiva. I'm on board with you. Like I did not like the first ones at all. Not that I didn't like them, I just didn't think they were necessary. But I was all on board with these. That was one of the coolest things I saw at that they talked about, and they actually had a store there right on the Meta campus that you could go in and order them, and I did. I went in. Me and Jazz went in, and we had a few minutes break, and I went in and I ordered a pair.
He was like, this frame or this frame, but this frame or that frame. And I was like, I don't know, I'm not good at this. Let's ask the attendants.
Yeah, and they do. It was cool. They helped you out, but they do have some cool frames. You can like kind of. They have them now because they have different colored ones, and then they have them so they're like they're transparent, so you can see like everything inside of them, which is pretty cool, man. And
this is definitely the start of something. I genuinely believe that eventually the optometrist won't be just an optometrist. It'll be like going into a computer store, because all of these glasses are eventually going to have augmented reality and artificial intelligence built in, and people are going to have to be trained spatial computing people, right? So this is just the beginning of that. To be able to kind of superhuman yourself, to be able to get that data that you need when you need it without even taking out your phone is pretty rad. Again, I don't know. I just wish they had I wish you could just throw this stuff in any frames. And I understand that that's not possible. They got to build in all this tech into the glasses, right? But eventually, if I don't give in on this iteration, it will happen soon, because this is the future that I want. I want AI everywhere until it kills us all, and then
well, until then, I'm going to be really nice to it. So when it does happen, I'll be on the right side. I will turn humanity in so fast, you have no idea. I'll be like I'll be like, yes, I'll help you get them. Don't worry, save me.
No, Mash, tell them to scare me.
You're like, no, do it.
I did get a chance. So it's like you can apply for early access to get the Meta AI thing, and then I applied and I got it. So I've been messing around a little bit. Some of them are really good. Actually, the way that they're trained is really impressive. They are very in character. Like when you
use Snoop Dogg?
No, I haven't used that one yet. I used Paris Hilton and I don't know, some random guy that was supposed to be the grandpa, and then some other lady that was like the career coach. Anyway, the point is, whenever you ask them questions, if it's not directly like in line with what they're supposed to, they like give an answer that sounds like their character, but it's like, hey, that's not really what I talked about. But if you have any, like the mom, she was like, oh, sorry, sweetie, that's not really like, something I know anything about. But if you want to ask me questions on like relationships or life or whatever, it was quite interesting. Actually, it was very impressive talking to them.
That's awesome. I have a ChatGPT little model that I trained to be Snoop Dogg. So I've already
nice. You've been doing it already.
Wait, when did you train this? It's like after Connect?
No. This is before. No, it'll talk to me as Snoop. It'll create full rap songs as Snoop.
Did they steal your idea?
I'm
steal your idea?
So confused. Yeah, I was like, wait, why is everyone so obsessed with Snoop Dogg? This is crazy.
No, I've always wanted to hang out with Snoop Dogg.
I mean, who does?
My bucket list is smoke a joint with Snoop Dogg for sure.
Yeah.
But for now, I can just talk to him in AI. So that'll do, I suppose.
That's cool.
Yeah. Did you guys hear the part where they said that they're going to make AI NPCs in VR?
Oh yeah, I mean, Rift XR already did that as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, but that is the future, 100%. Eventually, I feel like when my kid grows up and she's like, I don't know, maybe 20 or something, and she's playing a game, and an NPC doesn't reply to her and be able to have a conversation, it's gonna be like a Walmart bargain bin game, right? Like,
yeah, right. What is this?
That NPCs are like human-like, that they're actual characters that you can interact with. And as soon as they figure out the latency issues, it's over, man. Every NPC will definitely have you'll be able to talk to it. And you can run a lot of these LLMs right now in-house, so the developers won't have to pay,
Mhm.
you know, OpenAI's fees per query, right? They'll be able to run this stuff in-house and do it, and that's definitely the future.
I think it's going to get to a point very quickly where you're not going to know whether you're talking to an AI or a real person or not. You know what I mean? So, I was talking with a group of developers about online, bullying and online, people acting in different ways, and they said you're gonna see online moderators that are AI,
Yep.
that you're not going to know that they're AI, and you're not going to, and so you're not going to be able to talk to anybody the way you want, because that AI or that bot will just boot you out of there and you'll be gone.
Mhm.
And people will quickly learn that they're not going to be able to say whatever they want to say, because they're not going to know who they're talking to all the time.
Yep.
That
Yep.
which can be scary in both ways.
Absolutely. It can be, and it is right now anyway. There's a lot of scams happening right now where you can I could replicate your voice without, especially us, right? Because we are online talking constantly on podcasts. Our voices can be replicated almost to the point where you could not tell the difference. And then, people are like setting things up to call people as their kid and going, "I'm in trouble, I'm in jail, I need you to wire money," blah blah blah.
Mhm.
Right? So there's
Dude.
definitely bad things that are going to happen, but there's going to be a lot of good stuff too. There's a duality to all of these things in life. You
What-
can't have
I just
transformative technology like this.
Wait till somebody gets a recording of me saying I love Beat Saber. I'm not gonna. It's not gonna be.
Well, you
No,
don't need it
it's
recording
not
now.
me. It's not
Make
me.
it happen. Yeah, yeah,
Not
yeah.
me.
Yeah, yeah. I
I
have
just
video of
I
you
just
playing.
want to say to anyone listening, this is my real voice, actually.
Nice. Oh my god. It is like I said, it is like kind of like a double-edged sword. We're gonna have to have some protections with these things, and but to me, I want to figure those things out because I want to see it go forward. So let's just figure them out. You know what I mean?
That's all
Some
you
real,
can do. You
yeah.
can't
Yeah.
stop this tech. It's
Mhm.
too far forward. There's no going back. So instead of going, well, this is going to be dangerous. This is going to destroy jobs. This is going to, like, we got to figure out a path forward. This is just like VR. You cannot dock this train again. You can't bring it back to the station. It is gone. If you step in front of it, you're going to get run over. So let's figure out the problems, benefit
Mhm.
humanity with the things that it does well, and figure out how to prevent, the bad stuff as best we can.
You
So
know what I'd love to see is like one of these AIs, touching back on what Eric said, one of these AIs to be like a bouncer, and anyone that even remotely says that they're under 18, boot them to another to another instance where it's under 18 only. Like,
Yeah.
please let us get this, like, age appropriate spaces for people. It's like listening to you and you're like, oh, actually, I'm in like fifth grade. Boot.
They're gone.
I think the
Move to another
wavelength of your
instance.
voice, they'd probably be able to
Oh.
tell just by the wavelength that you've been saying what your age is. Maybe. I don't know.
Mhm.
See what happens. But yeah, I mean, I'm like a 40-something-year-old dude. I don't want to hang out with 10-year-olds. I don't do that on my spare time. I don't go out and so I
It's
don't
so
want to do that
weird. I
in
can't.
my games either.
Ugh.
That's weird.
I can't get over that. It's so weird. I hate that this problem's not solved yet. It's one of the
Mhm.
biggest problems for me in VR. And also, obviously, there's so much toxicity in like certain games in VR. And yeah, I think there's so many possibilities with using AI to to monitor and also like I don't know, yeah, moderate like the
Mhm.
spaces and make them safe for everybody.
Yep,
Definitely.
totally.
Well said. Well said. I'm down with that.
So
But
anyway, yeah, Connect, AI, VR, XR, MR, all the R's. It was super awesome. I am stoked. We got like how many more days until quests are at our doorstep here?
I think is it Tuesday?
6 days, less than 1 week.
Yeah.
Yep. It's less because like the beginning of today was 6 days. So now it's technically like 5 days and a couple hours.
Okay, Siva, you
Yeah,
were
right?
definitely
He's
counting
counting down the
down.
minutes.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna be sitting at my doorstep. Anytime a new headset comes out, I am sitting at my doorstep. I am waiting. And if it doesn't show up on delivery day, I am sleeping out there and I am waiting for that driver to show up.
Is it crazy that I'm going to get my
Mm.
Quest 3 before I get my Lynx XR1 that I ordered
Wow.
back Kickstarter?
Mm.
So dead. Now it's so
3
sad.
years. And they're like,
It's
they're
so
just shipping
sad.
now, but I still don't have mine. It's September.
I know.
Like, they keep
Painful.
pushing it back and back. And I know some
It's
people
not
are getting them, but man.
Yeah, VR is not easy. And like, you know what else? OO vests are finally like getting released to early like
Yeah.
purchasers, and like they purchased like 2 years ago and they're
Yeah.
barely now getting them.
Yeah, I see our coworker
VR
Wise
Central.
from VR Central has his OOVF.
I'm glad that they postponed that until they could figure things out, because that had the potential to hurt people, right? So I really hope that they worked out the kinks. There was weird. So when that vest, for anyone that hasn't tried it, uses electrical impulse to zap your muscles and cause muscle contractions and like make you feel like you've been shot, or that raindrops, or whatever the case may be. But the thing is, when you hit someone with electricity like that, your muscle seize up and you can't move. And we saw that live and in person at conferences where people went down because they couldn't handle it. Now,
and hurt themselves.
Yeah, because everybody reacts
like
differently.
bleeding.
Now, if
because
I were
they
to
fell.
install malware onto people's machines that looked for devices like this,
No.
and as soon as one turned on,
People with Black
turn-
Mirror and everything.
no.
don't turn it off. You would never be able to turn it off by yourself.
No, can you imagine? You would just
until it burned out.
You have to rip it off your.
Right?
You have to rip it off your body if you could even move your
But you
arms.
can't, because
Eva.
you are seized. You can't do anything. You
Oh,
can
everybody-
literally not do anything. So there are definite things, safety precautions they had to get through in order to make this tech safe. And I hope they hit them all, because things happen. Tech doesn't work right sometimes, and I really want to see devices like this go forward, but in a safe way where no one gets hurt.
I have some ideas now to get Wise to work harder.
Oh,
you think you can set something up for us?
Oh yeah, I'm in. Let's go. I mean, no, I would never.
No, never.
No, of course not.
VR Central be in the middle of his day. We'd be like,
work.
get back to work. We see you.
In the bathroom again. Zzz.
Dude, Skiva, I didn't even think about that. Installing malware into like wearable like haptics and stuff. Man, no. I just want to have fun. Jeez.
I know, right?
People like really need to get a life. Like, stop trying to ruin my fun.
Seriously, I just want a VR, man.
Yeah, right.
Just want immersion. Give me all
Right.
the
So there were a couple of demos at Connect that were pretty cool. So I kind of want to talk a little bit about them
Good idea.
and segue into some of the games that hopefully we can expect, including like the interview that we're going to show you just in a couple minutes. But yeah, so all the demos were mixed reality. I don't know, Eric, what did you like the most from the in-person demos?
From the mixed reality, well, number one, the demo that I thought was the most impressive was by far the Assassin's Creed. But the mixed reality itself, I think BAM was amazing. What about you?
Yeah, BAM was so freaking fun. So BAM basically is like a tabletop thing, and you can do local anchors on it, or like co-location. So you and other people with your VR headsets can all in mixed reality see this tabletop game and kind of gather around it in the same exact way. And man, that's so freaking cool. Like, oh my gosh, right now when you play VR, you're like you're pretty solo, right? Even if you're playing a multiplayer game, usually you'll be like sitting next to the person who's playing with you, or like sitting in the same room, but like you're not interacting with each other in real life. So it's still pretty like isolated. But oh my gosh, the co-location thing. I don't think you guys understand. Like, people are going to be going to each other's houses like, hey, do you want to play VR together? Yeah, I'm gonna bring my headset over and you're going to play together. It's gonna be so freaking cool. It's really gonna change the way that, like, I don't know, I get so excited about mixed reality because I think it's going to change the way that people play VR. And how you it goes from like this very isolating solo experience to now really being something interactive. And I want to like give a little story, which I mentioned in like in my Quest 3 like first impressions video on YouTube. But when I got to go to New York for the press demo of the Quest 3, like Mateo and a couple of other creators were all playing BAM in a table like next to us, and then me obviously with like some other people. We're just chatting kind of here, and we were chatting about random things, and like every now and then Mateo would like call out and answer our questions. We're like, dude, you're in a headset playing a game with people over there. But because it's mixed reality and he can see us, he's not disconnected at all to the room. He is very much so still present with us. It's like playing a board game here while someone else is like chatting here, and you're connected. It's really cool. The other thing that happened to me was like while I was playing, they were like filming me. And usually, you don't even know if someone's filming you or whatever is happening while you're in VR. But here I can like see them. I can see what they're doing. I'm like, hey, can you actually like, can you get this kind of shot or that kind of shot? It's so different. And I'm very excited for mixed reality.
I want to give a quick shout out too, because BAM is this cool little game that no one would really think that this was by the legendary development studio iLlusions, who created Space Pirate Trainer and Space Pirate Arena, and they are back into MR now, and this is so cool, and I'm just so glad to see these guys back doing something awesome again.
Bam.
Yeah, it was so cool. Yeah, and it was cool because I got a chance to meet him at Connect, which was super cool, and just say hi. And you know, I thought it was awesome. It's great to see like an OG doing something for a brand new headset that's completely different than what they had done in the past that had made them, you know, kind of like who they are. So it's nice to see developers kind of step out, you know, from, you know, maybe just like the shadow of one game and do something completely different that's cutting edge on exactly what we're just about to jump into. And I'm gonna before we get into the interview and what we want to talk about, which is in a game that all of us have been loving. Let me ask you this, because some people have been posing the question to me. Do you think the mixed reality of the Quest 3 will be gravy on top of an amazing VR headset, or do you think most people will be buying it for the mixed reality? Jazz,
I really hope that it's gravy. I think that we need both. Not everyone wants to see their house. Like actually someone, I don't remember who it was. Well, I think Backstorm in my Discord was like, "Can you imagine Power Wash Simulator MR?" And I was like, "Dude, my house already looks dirty. I don't need Power Wash Simulator MR to imagine it dirty." Um, but do you know what I mean? Like, there's some things that just don't make sense, and you actually want VR. And there's also people who like you might really just want to escape. Like, you know, maybe you're just like, "Oh man, everything here is so stressful. I just want to get away and kind of go somewhere else." And there's definitely room for both. Like, I think, you know, MR makes a lot of sense for anything like that's more multiplayer, especially in real life together, or like, I don't know, just some cool experiences. But VR, if you take VR from me, I'm gonna be pissed.
Well said. I like that.
So I gotta say, I think it will be just kind of the cherry on top of the cake. But I will tell you that I think it will be a little bit more significant than most people realize. And the reason I say this, is because like when I play VR, I want to be immersed. I want to be in another place. I don't really want to be here. I see my house all the time, but I will tell you this: I go out. I have a daughter. She is at the age that I have to go to all these birthday parties and hang out with all these parents that I have nothing in common with, right? And of course, VR comes up because that's what I do. And what I hear over and over again is, "Oh yeah, I got one of those Oculus things and it's been in the closet and I haven't touched it in a long time." And I'll be like, "Why?" And they'll be like, "Man, I got kids. I got like people running around. I can't see them. I don't know what's happening. If I get in there and they hurt themselves or they like climb a shelf and like there's like I can't do that, right?" So I feel like there are experiences here like maybe like the cabin, home invasion, and things like that are going to bring a whole new subset of people that wanted to be into VR, that really want those experiences, but they cannot because they can't have their 4-year-old or their 2-year-old hurting themselves because they can't see what's happening and they're completely shut off from the real world. And this will give them that comfort to be able to enjoy spatial computing again and still be able to see their dog and see their family and wave to their wife when they walk by and hopefully prevent injuries from their kids, right? So I think this is very, very important and more important than a lot of us gamers that just want VR. This is a huge piece of that just from being out and talking to the normal people that are outside of the bubble
The
that
normies?
we live in. Yeah.
Yeah.
The normies?
You
The ones that
I
call it the Oculus goggles. Hey, I got the
Oculus
Oculus
goggles.
goggles.
Yep.
I'm like, I'm gonna have to punch you in the face. You say the I mean, I like that you're calling it Oculus, but you say the Oculus goggles, I'm gonna have to deck you.
Yeah.
So I actually talked to Tatiana from Disco VR, and she was saying how she's so excited for mixed reality because she has a new baby, and she's like, "Man, like this is just gonna be so good for her to be able to like still play VR and stuff." The other thing with that too is, a lot of people like when you're putting on a VR headset, you are like basically getting blindfolded, and if you're not somewhere where you're comfortable, etc., it can be a really off-putting experience, but yeah, I do think that like with, for example, when they showed Piano Vision, right, where you can learn how to play piano in mixed reality,
Great commercial.
so many people, like you said, that aren't like hardcore gamers and kind of just want to have more casual experiences and try things out. There's going to be so many of these like more, I would say like, I don't know, entry or more comfortable level experiences that will get them into the headset. And we need those things. So I do think that MR is really is really important. Like Skiva said, it's going to play a very big role. And we better be mainstream. We better be mainstream like tomorrow. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Like I need everybody having headset and actually using it.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited about MR.
Yeah, Piano Vision, that's going to bring people in that would have never had any want to do anything like this. There's a lot of people out there, they don't care at all. They don't want to shoot anything. They don't want to go put in some weird, compromising position where things are trying to kill them. That's not how they roll, right? But they want to learn how to play piano. Maybe they don't even have a piano. They don't even need one now for this, but maybe they do. Maybe they have a keyboard, and this experiences like Piano Vision are a big deal. They just are. So I'm stoked for that. I'm excited myself. There was a time where I liked to play, keyboard and piano, and I even took lessons, and that was a really long time ago, and I'd love to get back into this. So there's a lot of things in MR that are coming that will just better us as people and better the things that we do in real life. So I'm all about it.
Yeah, there was also this other thing that they talked about that uses MR. Gosh, there's just so much to talk about. But when they said that there'll be like spatial anchors in your house, and you can put portals in different places in your house, you can decorate your house in MR with like VR stuff. So if you got like a trophy in Beat Saber, you put it in that wall. Like I know Eric would definitely have one of those.
Oh, all over the house. Everywhere.
And like, for example, if you're doing, a fitness game, you put like the anchor or like the portal on a wall that's near your fitness area. But if you want to do Piano Vision, you don't have to like redo your Guardian again, because you just go to like wherever you would play the piano, like on a table surface or something, and they would have the anchor there. Come on, tell me that's not cool.
Yeah, and they were even saying you could launch the game right from there. Like they showed like a spot, like you were talking about, where they had Supernatural, on the wall, like in almost looked like a mirror that was showing the game through the thing, and you just went up to it and you kind of like touched it or clicked on it, and all of a sudden now you're in the game. You were in your living room and you were looking through a portal, and now you click on it and you're in the game. So no having to go back out, launch to your go to your menu and then launch the game. I mean, I can just see there's so many things that they're going to be able to do with this mixed reality now. So where I do think where Substatica says, still gimmick, I think it is gimmick, but it's getting way more substantial than say it was when the Quest Pro came out, or the Pico 4, where we had some mixed reality and that. I finally think we're about to get something more substantial. Like I think we're going to see some amazing experiences, but I think we're about to see within the next maybe 3 to 6 months some full-blown games, like actual apps and games that we're going to be able to do things, and like you said, things for your own environment that you're going to be able to do and decorate, and I don't know, just there's going to be so many things that are possible now that they weren't possible before.
Man, I was looking at that like trailer, and I was like, I'm never going to take this stuff off. I'm just going to be walking around my house looking, because it's going to look so much better with all the decorations here. It's like,
I know.
Anyway,
I think a really, really, really big deal here that most of us are going to go, I don't care, is the depth sensor, because that self-mapping of the rooms is such a big deal. It's all of the little things in VR, all of the things that make people not want to get into it is all the little friction points. And as we chisel away at these friction points and remove them one by one, all of these little things, it makes a huge difference. People get into VR and they just spin around and create a Guardian. They're not actually taking into account the walls or the things in the room, and that can be dangerous, but they don't care. They just want to get in there. They don't really understand what the Guardian's even doing for them. They spin around, they create one, now they're in VR. Now you'll just be able to put the thing on, and it automatically finds your walls from depth sensors, right? It finds your couch, it finds your tabletops. Now, if I want to use, some of the workplace features in Horizon, I don't have to map my table, right? It just sees it and it puts it there. I don't have to go find and create a chair and create a couch and spend an hour on my Guardian system, because it's just going to do it by itself. And that is huge. And it's a thing that people won't appreciate, because a lot of these people didn't do it to begin with, and they don't really understand how long it takes to do those things. And removing those friction points is a huge, huge deal for your normal everyday user. So props to that. Plus, I used the Quest 3 in a very low light situation, and the hand tracking just worked. And I'm thinking to myself, this isn't going to work, because like my Quest 2 would be going, it's too dark, we can't detect your hands. This was like, no, don't care, there they are. And it worked flawlessly, and it was bananas. So
the other thing with the depth sensor too, which is, it's all a great point, but there's also a coolness factor to it. I played this game called First Encounter, and it's like
yeah.
when the ceiling collapses and like little aliens start dropping down everywhere. And with the depth sensor, one of the little aliens was hiding behind this guy that was like standing in front of me because like it's interacting with the environment. It's so cool.
That's rad.
It
That's
was
cool. Yeah, these things can move behind couches, crawl up onto things. Like that's a big deal. You
Mhm.
know, there's just a lot of these little things that make kind of a big difference in the overall picture of spatial computing. So
I'm so excited.
Yeah,
You guys are
and the
hyping me
depth,
up.
yeah, and the depth sensor is not. There's a lot to it. It's not just the depth sensor too. It's the new whole color pass through system in the way it's better even than the Quest Pro. So, you've tried one, Skiba. You have a Quest Pro, Jasmine. You know that sense of not being exactly yours. Like what I mean by that is your hand. Like when you're in pass through with your Quest Pro, when you look at your hand and you move your hand around, you have a disconnect because it's almost like a latency or a lag where you have a disconnect between whether if it doesn't feel like it's your hand, it feels like it's a representation of your hand. And with the depth sensor on and with the new cameras and the new color pass through and with the latency even being lower, when you put your hand in front of your face and you wave it around, you actually feel like it's your hand. You're looking at not a representation of your hand. So the disconnect is no longer there. And I think that has to do a lot with the depth sensor as well.
Yep,
very
definitely.
cool stuff. Very
Yeah.
cool stuff. Todd in the chat. What's up, Todd? Your ears must have been ringing earlier. Thanks for everything you do for us, buddy. We appreciate you.
Yeah, we were giving you a shout out how beautiful the countdown looks and the setup on here. So thanks for doing that.
Good job, bro. Don't let it go to your head. You got shit to do tomorrow.
Jeez.
So speaking of like, the little things that delight and stuff, I think, there was such a big push to like everyone's like AAA titles, and that was like the big pushing points. But now I don't know, like the little things are feeling really good. Like I said, like a little alien hiding behind a guy, or like being able to do piano vision or playing piano in random places in your house. And so I do think that there's going to be like, personally, I feel like there's going to be a push for more like casual, relaxing, easy type of games. Like, yeah, I really think that that's where we're going with this. And honestly, the person the dev studio that we interviewed for this, man, have they perfected that. The little things for Outta Hand is what makes it so good.
Yeah, Skiba's one of Skiba's most favorite games. I think he's been playing recently, and probably one of your hits of Gamescom.
It was, I think, my favorite game at Gamescom. It was so and we go to these conferences all the time, 12 or more a year, and we try all kinds of stuff. And when you're at an expo, you put on the thing, you try it, there's people waiting, your friend is there and he's gonna get in, or someone's filming you. It's a little awkward. You just kind of want to get in, try it out, and get out. This game, I was like, oh man, how long have I been in here? I don't even care. I'm just gonna play until they make me get out. Right? This
It
game
is
is
Outta
so
Hand.
much fun. It is so much fun. It is almost a little off-putting to compare it to Gorilla Tag because it has these mechanics where you move with your hands, but it feels a million times better than Gorilla Tag. Like the movement system is incredible. The levels are colorful. I love platformers. This is a full-blown platformer in VR. And this game is just phenomenal. It's so good. It's gonna build up. It's gonna make you a little sweaty, but that's okay. It's good for you.
It's like a workout. You can almost use it like a workout if you
Yeah,
really did, because you could do like the speed runs and stuff, and like I mean, it's really good.
This game is awesome. It is awesome.
Yeah, me and Jasmine, Skibo unfortunately was unavailable for the interview, but me and Jasmine had a chance to sit down with one of the developers from the team, and we had a lot of great questions for him. And it was one of my favorite interviews, Jazz. And you'll see this gentleman that we talked to. Man, he was.
And you're gonna see me just like losing my mind the whole time because I freaking love this game. And how Skiva said, it'll make you work up a sweat. That's probably one of my favorite parts. Like it's such a well done game, and you get a workout. Heck yeah! So yeah, it's fantastic. You'll see.
Yeah, and this the dev is going to tell you a little bit here about watching Skiva play and how much he enjoyed watching Skiva enjoy the game. So it was It was a pretty cool interview, and we hope you guys like it. It's not that long, guys. It's really good. It's going to last, just over 30 minutes. So we'll be here when it gets back. So enjoy the developers from Out of Hand.
Outta
All
Hand.
right, Jasmine, we have the pleasure of bringing in Ben Shmoyloff, the co-founder and game director of the new game Outta Hand from Capriccia Studios. How you doing, Ben?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Pleasure to
I
be here.
have been playing Outta Hand for in early access for the past couple of weeks, and I have to tell you that title is so perfect for this game. This game is actually really out of hand. It's so good.
Thank you.
It is really good, and and Skiba can't join us for this pre-recorded interview, but Ben, I mean, myself and Skiba got a chance to come and see you at Gamescom in Germany, and that's where we tried the game for the first time. And before we get into the whole background, I just want to say that this was one of the highlights that we had of the show. I mean, we had to drag Skiba out of the headset for that demo.
Yeah, that was
that's really hard because he's so tall. He's a big guy.
Can't reach. Yeah, like you can't get the headset out of him.
Yeah, absolutely. Ben, so let's start with this. Why don't you tell us a little bit about, yourself. Tell us a little bit about your journey personally to co-founding Capriccia Studios and getting into virtual reality.
So I actually come from film originally. I was a video editor for a while. I've done film and stuff like that. I even taught film at a high school for 8 years or so. And did a lot of stuff with like creative productions and guerrilla productions in my city. Like I grew up in Jerusalem, so we've done a lot of avant-garde stuff there, like taking out like about 2 tons of sand and put it in the street and do a pool, like a beach party in the middle of Jerusalem that famously doesn't happen, which was fun. And we cleaned it up afterward, of course. Nothing good.
That's a lot of sand.
Yeah.
And the story into joining Capriccia is actually a really long one. I actually started off auditioning to the band that was Capriccia first.
It was the band.
Capriccia was originally a metal band, not a game studio.
Crazy.
A metal band.
That's awesome. I love that, man.
Hence all of the stuff here. So we started off as a metal band, and then I joined Capriccia along the way of making film. Honestly, it was something that I joined out of passion because I really wanted to make video games, and we really wanted to make a career out of it. So we built a company, and we built a Bird Cage, which was our second album of the band. And that was a pretty cool game on its own because we've had a lot of artists coming in from pretty famous bands like Guns N' Roses, Epica, with Indentation. And they played in the album with us, and we even got to go on concerts with them and everything. And we were very much like PC console oriented indie studio at the beginning. And yeah, that's pretty much the story of how I got here.
That's a crazy story. I love hearing people's backgrounds because from a metal band, imagine people looking up Capriccia Studios now, oh, I wonder what's happening with that metal band. And now you're like, oh, we're making this game. It's in VR. That's awesome. So how did you get into VR then? That's a pretty big jump from metal.
That's kind of funny. That's a really big jump, actually. That's a funny story because actually both me and my partner, Arnold, we were both very unsure about VR at all as an industry, and coming into it as a young studio kind of felt like, okay, we want to build a company, and this is kind of a move that doesn't necessarily could benefit the studio. But when we finished with Bird Cage, one of our animators actually started working while on Bird Cage, like a bit before release, started working on a mechanic in VR. And slowly our team kind of started working with him after hours, after finishing with Birdcage, they went and started working on this thing. And at some point, the team just told us, "Hey, this is interesting. Let's see what we can do out of it." So we tried it, and pretty much as the reaction for everyone who touched the game, which I am allowing myself kind of to say now, because again, the base mechanic I didn't do, like the whole game afterwards and the whole narrative and building a world around it. This is where I come in. But the mechanic is really such a selling point for this that we were sold immediately. And I think it took us like 4 months to come from testing it to coming to a full production, working with Oculus, finding publishers such as Beyond Frame that we work with that are amazing. And yeah, this is kind of a crazy journey for us because again, never thought going into VR, and now we are very much entrenched in it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean the studio movement from a Birdcage, which was a music-based game. Right? Could you just for background, just tell us a little bit about that experience? Because I kind of did a little bit of homework on it. A Birdcage, it looked like it was a music-based game on Steam.
Yes, exactly. So Birdcage is actually an album, like a full album. You can find it on Spotify as well. And pretty much every level there is a song. So it's imagine life is strange, where you have the decisions, your actions matter and affect the world, but it's time limited because you have the time of the song, you have the time where that happens. And then you're pushed through the events by the action you've made, what you chose to do, what you succeeded or failed to do, and stuff like that. A way bigger project than an indie studio should take as a first one. But it was cool. It was a very fun experience.
This is a music album that you can experience in virtual reality?
No, it's PC and consoles. It's not in VR.
Oh, okay.
But okay. Maybe. I'm not saying.
Yeah, I mean, it would lend itself. Like if you guys ever had the wherewithal to do it or the bandwidth to do it, I mean, it would be so cool. I mean, there are some experiences out there that are somewhat like this, where you kind of experience things in virtual reality with music, but this is on a different level. I think this would be absolutely amazing because it looks absolutely beautiful from what I'm looking at. Here, I definitely want to check it out on Steam. But I think it shows some versatility for you guys, the studio, to jump something like this from a music-based, focused experience flat on a Steam game to jumping into a VR game, which is very, very different. So and to do it so fast.
I do want to say too, like when you said that your background's in film, man, I felt that so much when I played Outta Hand. Like the story, I mean, I didn't know what to expect. I just knew that Eric and Skivo were like losing their minds over this game. And I was like, okay, someone give me an early access to this. I need to try. I don't understand what, what all the, like the fuss is about. And then I tried it and like the storyline unfolds so well. Like literally, I would say I felt like I don't know, I kind of felt like I was in Monsters, Inc. as like the main character of the story, right? Like going through the sequence, like because I did the storyline mode, and it's just like it's funny. The characters are really good. The way you're like unfolding the like the mechanics that go into the game and how you introduce different like different ways of moving or doing things in the game unfolds really naturally, very thoughtfully, which I think isn't always done in VR, by the way. A lot of people, when they make VR games, especially if it's their first one, they'll just be like, okay, let's just put a big block of text for them to read, or let's just teach them absolutely everything that they need to know, like right up front. And I think that scares a lot of people. It's like, it's so many things to think about, or it's so overwhelming. But really, like the story unfolds so beautifully in your game. So I totally see that. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about Outta Hand for those that don't know about this game.
Sure. So I'll skip a bit of the movement, because the movement is similar to Gorilla Tag, I would say, but we worked really hard to make it really fine-tuned and free as much as we can, laid out really what we wanted to accomplish, to let the player experience the freedom of motion. Like everything they do touch can really affect how they move in the world. But other than that, the narrative, we really wanted something very similar to the stories of the games we kind of grew up with, like Rayman and Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, of course, like all sorts of. So you have like the crazy scientist that has some bio creatures that are, some of them are adorable, some of them are like weird but still like huggable, and yeah, you just want to save them. Like you're going out to save them. We didn't make as much effort in the narrative, I would say, as in the gameplay. Which is not to say that we didn't put a lot of heart and soul into the narrative, but we really wanted it to kind of always be part of the mechanic, if it makes sense. Like be very mechanic driven and understand that this is what drives you the most. And the narrative, we just really wanted something that will keep you inside. Like, okay, the mechanic is nice, but it's not enough to just move, right? So the story, we really want something to keep you inside the world, to keep you engaged, to continue wanting to explore and to find new things, new worlds, new biomes. And yeah, so that's, we used it more as a tool, funny enough, which is kind of weird for me as a filmmaker.
Yeah, I love the movement. It's I you know, I've played Gorilla Tag, I've played, you know, No More Rainbows, which are, you know, has similar movement, but it's not the same to me. Like I wasn't really enamored with those style of movements. I thought they to be a little bit slow for me, which is not in Out of Hand. To me, in Out of Hand, it's what I wanted, you know, some of those other games to be because the movement feels, you know, it feels faster in some way. It feels smoother. The mechanic, the way you move and the way you can kind of navigate the environments in Out of Hand is so unique because uh, it's not just about, you know, flinging it. It's about like, you know, platforming almost, right? It's not just, you know, moving from point A to point B. It's how you get from point A to point B.
Right.
Yeah, there's like, yeah, I think you skipped over it, but it's such a big part of the game, right? Like the fact that you can, you know, of course you can walk with your arms, but you can also jump really high with your arms. Yeah, you can fly. You can be up in the air and like punching the crap out of all the out of all the enemies. Like there's so much that's happening there. I mean, can you tell like, and when we're comparing it to, you know, other games that use similar mechanics, I don't think they have as much like depth or like array of different movements. So can you tell us about like how you decided that these were the types of movements that would be involved and like what were the challenges of that? Because, you know, again, the mechanics in this isn't as straightforward. There's so many different things, and that's why I said it unfolds really well because it doesn't overwhelm you. You learn that you can do all these different crazy movements as you progress.
So we're being compared a lot to Gorilla Tag, which is understandable. It came out and was a huge success, but actually the core mechanic, the core movement was not Gorilla Tag inspired at all. It was actually inspired from Echo VR. So Echo VR, for those who had the pleasure to experience that amazing game, had this kind of free motion where you can really, you are the boss of how this moves. You don't have the character jump 5 steps. It's like if you do this and you throw yourself in like this sort of zero gravity, you'll move and you'll just get thrown. That on its own already was something that we really loved from that mechanic. That the mechanic that Ofek, are the one who made this locomotion, was inspired from, like originally. After this was about a year of researching 2D platformers, and just literally being in engine, exploring over and over. We have a lot of mechanics that are not in the game. Like we have about 60 more mechanics that are waiting for the next game, for Outta Hand 2.
Nice.
For them to be really fine-tuned and really nice, because this is what we already like really wanted to have. Nothing in the game is a test for you. It's like something that we really want the player to go through the game and experience the full motion. And with it came a lot of exploration. So we just took a year out of production, basically out of 2 years of production. The first one was just exploration, just touching it and building tons of levels and tons of stuff that just never made it in. And then honestly, we just started making the actual game, the actual levels that are here in March, this March.
Wow.
Wow, that is really recent.
Yeah. But we
You
had
know,
like a lot of back end stuff happening already, and very smart building. Like the team was phenomenal. We have to talk about the team.
Yeah, how many members are on the team, and tell us a little bit about them if you want.
We're 12 people on Outta Hand.
Wow.
Caprita in total is 20 people, but we are kind of doing all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, that's really. I mean, 12 is a large team for a first time VR studio. That's amazing that you have that many people working on it. I can imagine to have something like ready, when you're basically getting into a lot of that stuff in March, and now it's launching going to be launching at the end of September is it had to be a daunting task for everybody to work on. Tell it what hand do you play in the game itself? Like, what do you work on directly?
So before I want to say something. While we really worked fast, we never crunched, not a day.
Nice.
We had some maybe personal people were wanting to do a bit more, like myself. I sometimes work weekends and stuff like that, but we never had like we're crunching now, or ask someone to work overtime or stuff like that. So that was also a big feat that I really wanted to kind of push that it's
amazing.
possible to do this and work without crunching at all.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I was kind of shifting throughout the company life. I was shifting. I actually joined the company as a 3D modeler, and after a year, I became a partner. And as such, I did the same in the project. So I kind of started off as a game designer, and through the shifts, I kind of became the level designer. So I built the levels themselves. So everything that is like the gameplay of the levels is
Which is
the
really
path,
hard.
the tutorial building, the lack of text and HUD, stuff like that. That's and I worked with a writer on the narrative. So I kind of called the game director because I touched a bit of everything. I also worked on the tools with the programmer, like designing them, the tools that we worked with in the engine. So I kind of touched a little bit of everything in the project.
The levels in this are designed so well. So kudos to you. Like every time I'm like, oh, okay, I'm getting the hang of this. And then something else comes up, I'm like, really? This is so hard. I feel like when you said that this is more reflective of Echo VR and the mechanics, like that makes so much sense. Like while this isn't in zero gravity, really, if you launch yourself, you can really launch yourself. And there's some parts I'm like trying so hard. Like I swear my arms are gonna like fall out of their sockets from trying so hard. And I'm like, dang it, I can't get this freaking jump. It's so like it can be pretty difficult, but I think it does unfold really well. It reminds me a lot of like Super Mario or like Frogger. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's oh my gosh. I think this game is so darling, so precious. Yeah. Okay, Ben's blushing, but I'm being serious.
Yeah, Ben, that's a really good point, Jasmine, and I think this is a good spot for you to maybe tell people out there who are watching that haven't had a chance to play it yet. Because as if this interview is going to be airing, the game is going to be out. It's going to be available for you to go get. Tell it. I mean, because this to
On
me,
which
this is
platforms too.
yeah, and this is kind of a mismatch of a game. There's several different play mechanics going on here, so it's very unique in what it is. So tell us about tell them about the gameplay. Tell them what the basis of the game is about, and then what platforms they can get it on.
So the basis is the movement itself. So you walk on your hands and you kind of basically the point of surface of your palm with the surface will dictate, and the strength you do it will dictate how far you move. By the way, a cheat code, I don't know if you noticed in the options, there's like sensitivity for the jump. So you can have actually...
No.
This is something we balanced out. So the higher it is, it's also harder to be precise and to land precisely, but it also gives you more strength with less effort. So something
That's
to try
interesting.
to reach, to see how you feel.
So would you call this a platformer, or
Yes,
would you call it a platformer? Right, that's what I think. But it's kind of got a bit of a brawler in it too, because you can like melee punch and do different things. So that's what I mean.
Yeah, but you can do that in Hollow Knight also. Right?
Yeah, right.
Actually, Hollow Knight is a huge reference for us. For me,
nice.
for the game design and everything, the floor punch, the way you use it and stuff like that is very similar to the needle on enemies. So how you can jump across them. So we really wanted to take that from there.
Yeah, the when your arms get really long and you like punch things, that reminds me of that little sticky toy, that hand that's like on the stretchy hand that slaps your, like, I think this game just reminds me so much of, like, it has so many elements from like nostalgia from things from my childhood. Like I said, it makes me feel like I'm like in Monsters Inc., but then it also reminds me of like traditional platformers. And then it reminds me of like the toy aspect of like that sticky hand. Like there's so many things. I don't know. The whole game's just like delightful. That's how I feel. Like it's just very, very adorable.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
The adorable aspect is very much to Catherine Valla, who is our character artist. She's made every character in the game, every character in the
It's
pod,
so
the ones you can play, the environment, enemies, bosses, everything. And
It's also like really great because the characters themselves, like there's mirrors almost in every single level. So you see yourself and you have these like massive arms, right? Because you like move around with your arms, but then you have like these really teeny tiny legs. It's hilarious. The first time I saw how tiny my legs were, I was like, what the heck is this?
have you walked on them though?
Huh?
Have you walked on them though?
No, I have not. I didn't know you can.
Wiggle.
It's very fun to ride.
Okay, I
Okay.
want to see video of Jasmine and her headset wiggling across the living room
Oh.
trying to walk with the tiny legs.
But the tiny legs are so tiny. They're like the size of like ears on people, basically. It's so funny. Yeah, it's great.
It was in the first QA. The game is very QA heavy. Like we ran a lot of QA tests with players with Antidote. In the first QA we ran, someone just was like, the movement, the locomotion is great. I really liked it, but it would be great if you could move with the joystick. And we are like, that's like Vampire Walk, which is natural in VR. And we were like, that kind of beats the purpose of our game. Yeah. But we have tiny legs. Like we already had the tiny legs on the character. So we were like, okay. It's very fun. It's very fun.
I can't wait. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna totally do that.
Which also unlocks like precision movement, because if you need to move a little bit in an area, you can raise your hand, move onto your legs, and then be exactly where you want to be, and then jump from there.
This is so helpful to know. Do you know how many times I had to like just move a tiny bit, but like I am not used to walking on my arms. I'm like so floppy everywhere. And I keep falling into like the spikes and the like all the bad stuff because I just don't know. Okay. Noted.
Now you know. And that's one of the cool things. The environment is part of the game, right? The moving yourself and the environment itself become part of the game. It's part of the gameplay style is the getting through the environment and kind of navigating everything, which is really cool. Tell us a little bit about the art style too, because the art style is gorgeous in this game. Like, I mean, this is one of those games where you put it on, it is a standalone game, but when you put it on, you don't feel like you're in a standalone game because I think the colors and everything pop so vibrantly on the screen. Was this the art style, was it always the same art style? Did you kind of go back and forth or tell us a little bit about that?
So that was a complicated one. So we had Apta Art join us. They're a company from Italy, run by Francesco Desi. They joined us last year on the last Gamescom, actually. We met them. And I kind of dropped. We have a game design document and we have our references. And by then we've been working on the project for a year, exactly, actually, because we've been started pre-production in September 21, and he joined us in September, October of 22. And I dropped like a bunch of stuff on him, and somehow he was like, I got you. And he just, it was a process and we worked a lot, but honestly, the man's a genius, really. Like, he did it with very little staff. He did it in a really smart way. He obliged to a lot of crazy design hurdles, such as every collision in the game has to be exactly perfect. There's no collision that's not perfect, which is, I can't explain how hard it is to make in a year for such a big, such a big project. And not only that, like also a unique art style, an art style that doesn't obstruct the gameplay. So no weird surfaces obstructing the gameplay. Because if you have like a collision that goes a little like this, and then you do this, then where is the hand coming from, right? Because the hand is a cube at the end of the day. So a lot of technical effort has come behind this. So the art is not just gorgeous; it also is a huge part of the gameplay, and really supports it in a beautiful way.
It's so funny. Like, there's so many times in this game where I'm just like, screw it, I'm just gonna try whatever, and I just bounce off as many things as I can, like in the environment. It's pretty funny. Like, like sometimes you're like, okay, I'm gonna be very methodical in this and like, go down the path, and other times I'm just like, F it, and just try and see how far I can. It doesn't work that way, by the way. But it is a testament that like the whole environment you can definitely bounce off of. There are surfaces on there that I have gotten on. I was like, oh, I thought this was like just in the background, but you can actually get onto pretty much every little ledge that you can imagine.
Yeah, which
there
is
are
awesome.
Also collectibles for you to be in.
Yeah, so like little collectibles and Easter eggs in the game that you have to go find, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so hard. I usually am just like, screw it, I can't. I just need to get through the game. Like, I'm just trying to get through this. It's a very challenging game, but it's very fun.
Our producer has been QAing the game for the past 4 months to find every small hole. Like he has the hawk eyes.
Nice.
And he basically says that you just need to commit. Every challenge that you can't pass, you just commit. You just go like, I'm gonna whatever happens, like close my eyes going through it kind of situation.
Yeah. I think that's it too. Like this game, it's it's definitely a game, but it's also secretly a workout because of how physically demanding it is. And I think that's why I enjoy it so much. Is I don't want to go to the gym. But if I can play this game and like have a ton of fun, but also am like double purpose of like also getting a killer work. Like literally I'm huffing and puffing at the end of every session because I'm just like, it just gets so like the progression just is so well done that I'm always like struggling. But just like every time I'm like this close to making it, so I'm like, no, I can do this. I can really do this.
Yeah, that's my daily workout.
Yeah.
From start to finish, like a speed run.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and that's another question I had. Like, I was just about to ask you, like, modes of the game. Is there a leaderboard? Are there speed runs? Can you get time trials so you can kind of go up against your friends and anything like that you have to kind of you can do besides just the campaign mode?
So you have the story mode is kind of stripped from all that because I really wanted to give a story, experience without cutting too much out of it or like making you chase other people. So the story is really deprived of anything online. You do have the endless mode, which is kind of a speedrun mode. Exactly, like you have endless amount of rooms that you can just run through, and there you can challenge your friends and other people on the quest. They will get updated over time, both the rooms, the environment, and the leaderboards. But yes, definitely something we have in the game, and speedrunning is a huge part of it. Like speedrunning and racing other people is a huge part of the game itself, and something we really want to add, maybe as an online feature for like actual race later on.
So can you see like your friends' scores, kind of like in Beat Saber? You can see your friends' scores, and you're just like every time you're like, oh, I'm gonna have to keep doing this over and over again because I have to beat them. Yeah. Exactly. Oh man, my arms are like hurting already from thinking about this mode.
I love it. I think it's a good idea because it gives people opportunity to explore the maps too and like try different routes and try different ways to go faster through the environment. And I think it's a really, really good idea. I would be remiss if I didn't ask the question that everybody asks about every game. And any thoughts on multiplayer?
Yes. So as I said, so one of the things we want to do for this game continuum is to have more modes and to also add multiplayer, hopefully. With that being said, the game was not built for multiplayer. So this will take us months, if not close to a year, probably to implement and do properly, because we don't want to just click on the button and have some, I don't know if I can say scrummy multiplayer system.
Yeah, you can say that for sure.
Like the whole game is so polished and refined. I don't imagine that you would ever add anything in there that's not been like properly like well done. Mm-hmm.
So we are working on the multiplayer. We are working on a few things that we just want to really give a polished experience and not something that we worked on for a little bit. I think this is what VR deserves in general, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So multiplayer will be in this, like if you're working on it, it'll go into this build.
So we are thinking of adding a few of the multiplayer features later into this game, namely a race, nothing you can interact with other players or change the world with other players. Nothing in that scale yet. But the race mode for us should be something pretty simple to implement. But again, there are stuff coming before and a lot to expect. The release on Thursday, 10 a.m. PST, is not the only thing to expect.
Nice. Now we love to hear that. I mean, and you know, we love to hear that developers will continue to support a game even after it's out. And could we see new maps or new biomes? Maybe.
Yes.
Wow. Nice.
I don't know about no biomes necessarily. As I said, the story is written from start to finish. The story
Right.
itself, I'm not going to touch too much on. We may add like a bonus areas and stuff like that. We may do like a bit of a portal approach as we've done with other stuff in the game. But most of the work we want to do is to more modes and to kind of expand on the experience of this motion and movement, not just in a platform. I think we've given our heart to the platformer part, and I think it's pretty solid at this point. And I want to show players, all right, there's more to expect. There's more coming with this locomotion.
Okay, so with all of these different modes and everything you're trying to include into this, it seems like there's going to be just a ton of replayability, a ton of like hours that you can sink into this.
That's our goal. Yes.
And I think it's so well priced too. Like even just for the story mode alone, at $20, I think it's so well priced just because it's so polished. It's so like I don't know, it's so wonderful. But the fact that you're gonna continue to give value to the players, like that's I don't know, for your first game especially, that's a really good thing to be doing and a really great way to show like the VR community how dedicated you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely agreed. And that's a good time to go in $20 for this game. And what platforms can people find it on?
So currently we are only releasing on the Oculus, but we are planning to release on Pico later this year.
Nice.
And on PC as well.
Let's see.
But PC will be very early Q1 in 2024.
PC, like PC VR, right?
Yes.
Not like a flat version, which I don't know, I'd probably still play the flat version, just wouldn't be as complicated.
I'm not sure how to translate it. I've been thinking about it a lot, and I'm not sure how to translate it entirely.
You need to move your hands, Jeff.
Yeah, there's something about the gyro, like the track, right? You know,
you could probably do this on you can do this on Switch.
Ooh, there you go.
Hold the controllers. Have a Switch, and it's super cute too. So this game is very would fit very well with the people that normally play on Switch.
Agreed. Cool. Agreed, but I think it fits for every VR player. So, you know, if you guys are looking for, you know, an amazing adventure platformer that's got a really cool story that looks beautiful on your Quest 2 or your soon-to-be Quest 3, and it's funny.
It's so funny.
Of humor. Yeah. There's so many cool little, you know, nuances of this game, and I love it. You know, if you're looking for like a brawler, and like Jasmine said, this feels like one of those Crash Bandicoot style of, you know, games like Mario, and you know, it gives you that feeling in it, but it makes you feel like a badass. Like the movement, like Jazz said earlier, the movement is really killer. Like it doesn't hold you back in the beginning. Like you feel like you get it right away, but then it gives you like more things as you go, so you can learn different things. So it's still challenging without being, you know, frustrating. It makes you feel like you can really fly through the environments, but then you got to be super pinpoint accurate. So guys, go get this game. It's super good.
It's very good.
Yeah.
So that there's gonna be an Outta Hand 2. What can we expect from that? Can you tell us anything yet?
Not really.
You should do it with trackers and make out of feet and do your feet.
Oh my gosh, that was
I can tell you that the game inspired us to a lot more than we are showing on this one. As you said, like what we chose to show and what we chose to put in this game is the most polished, most well thought things that we had. That being said, we have a lot of stuff that are at 95% that just didn't get in, for example, and a lot of stuff that we just really think that people will enjoy and are developing, and all those are planned to be either in Outta Hand 2 or as updates for this one.
An out of feet would be hilarious,
Out of
especially because like people are starting to attach their controllers to their feet like a dance brush or dance dash. Yeah. But yeah, you said that there's over 60 movements that you guys have created already. So I'm sure that there's
Not movement as much as mechanics, like stuff.
mechanics.
I love it. I love it. Ben, thank you for being here today, man. This was a big deal for you to come out and join us. We really appreciate it. I would just say, like, everybody go out and try this game. It's really good. Yeah, I mean, there's not many games where you see Skiva, enamored with it to the point where we have to pull him out of the headset, out of a demo. And Jazz. I mean, literally,
like
Jazz,
we don't have the same type of games.
No, and not at all.
Games ever. Yeah.
We said it was so good, and then Jazz got in and tried it when we got back from Gamescom, and literally, I think you gushed about it for like a week on how good it was, and that you were still playing.
I'm still gushing. I really think that there is potential for this game to be like an instant classic in VR that everyone needs to have, and like lots of sequels, spin-offs, and stuff. Like the storyline, mechanics, all of it is just so well done. And I think everyone should play it, because if me and Skiva and Eric all like the same game, unheard of.
Doesn't happen very often.
Literally, it just does not happen. I'm actually really surprised. Like, why do you guys like it? Because I like it. I know why I like it. I'm like so surprised. I'm very confused, actually.
I just like good games. I don't care what they are.
Good games. If they're like nicely polished. Yeah. Did Skiva tell you what he loved about it?
Yeah, I mean, Skiva loves the movement. Like, Skiva's the same. I mean, he wants action in a game, an adventure in a game. He doesn't want to be frustrated in a game, and the movement is really well done. And like, Skiva was in the same boat than me. Like, we are not Gorilla Tag people. We did not like it. I wasn't a big fan of No More Rainbows. I don't like I think it's too slow there. I mean, this to me has nuances of those in the movement, but it's unique on its own. It's different. Like, it's almost unfair to compare the two.
It is.
You're only comparing it because of the movement with your arms. The rest of the movement is not the same.
And the game itself, the way it's done, it's just so different. Like, it's really not a fair comparison to compare it to Gorilla Tag. It's definitely its own thing, and it's very good, and people should play it.
Thank you.
Agreed.
That was fun.
Ben, we could be your best salespeople for this game.
I know, honestly.
It seems like you already are. So
I know, right?
That's cool.
All right, Jazz, any final thoughts?
Yes, about the movement itself, it's very much Rocket League inspired as well, which is a big. I've been playing Rocket League since it came out. Most of the speed is very much coming from there as well. So yeah. But yeah, the game is out now. Should be out by the time this is out, and I hope you enjoy it. We are very excited for you to play it.
I have to share one thing that just sticks in my mind so much is like in this one part, there's like a slide kind of thing where you have to like go like this with your arms to move through the slide. I feel like I'm on a ride. Like it's just like I don't know how to explain it, but the mechanics are so good that like even though I'm like going with my arms and like sliding at the same time, it's crazy. It's very polished, very refined. Everyone should play it.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations, Ben, on your first game. Tell the team, congratulations for us as well, and well done on a great first VR game. We cannot wait to see what you guys do in the future.
Thank you so much for having me. That was very much fun.
Absolutely. So we will send this back to the live versions of Jasmine, Skiva, and Eric.
Awesome.
Hi, guys. All right, Jasmine, we have the pleasure of bringing in. Oh, that was so much fun, guys. That was a really cool interview with Ben.
Eva, we now have to ask you, because you weren't part of that interview. What did you like so much about Outta Hand?
Well, so I have been a Mario fan for all of my life. I love platformers specifically. I did not love Gorilla Tag. I wasn't really a fan of the movement, the kids in there, the game. I didn't think it was much of a game. But this game like you guys were saying, it's not fair to compare this to Gorilla Tag because it's such a different game. But I loved being able to like move around really, really fast, jump really, really high, and be able to like do these actual platforming things in VR because there really aren't. There's not a whole lot of platformers in VR in first person, right? And this, you're just like you're trying. Some of these jumps are really hard, and some of the things you have to do. There's wall jumping. There's all of the things in Mario games that I used to just really, really love. And this game kind of scratched a lot of those itches for me with having really, really cool VR mechanics, and just absolutely loved it and continue to love it. So
yeah, it's rare that you get one of these games that does hit a lot of people, because Jasmine mentioned it in the interview that it's very rare that the three of us are like really overly jazzed over a game. Like, we all have our likes and
Jazzed.
dislikes of game. Nice, you see how I did that. But I mean, where we all get excited about one game or one gameplay style, because we all like drastically different types of games. I mean, I think Steve and I like a lot of the same things, but Jasmine, you like very different games than we do. So when the three of us are like, man, this game is really good and we really love playing it, kind of goes to show you that this game can really touch any audience.
yeah, it's really challenging too.
Mhm.
There are parts of this game that are very, very hard, and then the challenges are all different as well. So some of them are platforming challenges, some of them are combat challenges. There's a mechanic in this game where you punch, but the enemy doesn't have to be close to you. So you can punch and the character's arm stretches way out like a Stretch Armstrong or something crazy, right? And pounds the character that's all the way down by the floor as you're making these crazy jumps. Just super fun. There's challenges with walls closing while you're trying to get through in time before you get smushed. And then there's boss battles. The boss battles are really, really cool too. So it's just a well-rounded game that any platformer fan, I think will really, really like. So I love it. Good stuff.
Yeah, it's a really excellent game that I recommend everybody go play.
Mm-hmm.
Jazz, you recommend it? What would you give it? What would you give it out of a 10? What is your score out of 10? 1 out of 10?
I think
Or
it's a
0
10
out
out
of
of 10. It's actually quite like perfect, honestly. It's a perfect game in its genre and the way that it's done. So it's so good. Just play it. And everybody here that plays it, just like come back to this video and write in the comments exactly what you thought. You'd be like, "Oh, you're right, Jasmine. You were so right." So
I like it. Tell Jasmine she was right, and then she'll like follow you forever.
I'm not.
Tell her she's right.
Why are you telling people what I'm gonna do?
I don't know.
Eric, we talked about this.
Don't speak for me. I do want to say to Zell 2318 in chat, subbed and liked, push the algorithm. You guys deserve more people in here. And yeah, we do, but we get it. We're doing our diligence, right? Everybody has to start somewhere. We're starting a brand new YouTube channel based off of our business, and it's a little bit different model, and we're going to be working at it. It's just going to be about consistency and being in here and doing awesome shows, and it's a lot about you, like Zell, and helping us out, spreading the word. Go tell people about the channel, share it to people, and click the thumbs up and subscribe, and it'll grow, because I think we enjoy doing this little different look into it, because we all each have our own podcasts, and some we even do together, but this one's a little bit different. We want to look at a little bit different side of the VR business, and I like the way we're doing things right now.
Yeah. Thank you, Zell, and thank you everybody for joining us. And the next time we see you, a lot of you are going to have a Quest 3, so we'll talk more.
Yeah, we're all going to have a Quest 3. Jazz is buying everyone a Quest 3 that's here in chat. That stays. Good job.
Anyway, all right. Before Eric tries to sell me onto doing some things I didn't agree to, I'm going to sign out now. Bye, everybody. Have a good evening. Thank you so much for being here.
Bye everyone. This is great. Thanks so much for being here.
Bye.
See you next time. Bye.